Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy, Bengaluru. This is the daily news analysis. Today, the Monday of August 4th, we'll be discussing some important articles from UPSC prelims, mains and interview perspective. The first article is from the Hindu front page. Biofortified potatoes with added iron to enter Indian market soon. So, what is the news about? The iron-rich potatoes are coming to India. Biofortified potatoes with enhanced iron content will soon be introduced into Indian markets. Developed by International Potato Center, which has already shared germplasm with ICAR, Central Potato Research Institution, Simla. Adaptation trials for Indian agroclimatic conditions are underway. Okay, so what is biofortification or fortification? It is nothing but adding a extra content or extra gene to a particular food. In this case, potato is added with iron. In other cases, there is an example of gold rice. What happens here is the rice which is having lesser vitamin is added with vitamin content. Okay, so the beta carotene which codes for vitamin is added into normal rice. It becomes gold rice, which will be having a higher vitamin content. This is biofortification. Okay, one of the advantages or one of the applications of biotechnology. Next, sweet potatoes already in use. Vitamin A fortified sweet potatoes are already being used or cultivated in Karnataka, Assam, West Bengal and Odisha. So, vitamin A fortified potatoes are already there, that is sweet potatoes are already there. Now, we are addressing iron rich potatoes. We are going to bring iron rich potatoes. CIP plans to expand seed availability to more Indian farmers. CIP South Asia Center in Agra. A new regional center is being established near Agra within India's potato belt, that is Indo-Gangetic Plains, supported by Uttar Pradesh government and National Horticulture Board. Okay, CIP is International Potato Board. That board will be set up in regional center will be set up in Patna now. Established through July 2025 agreement with the Union Agricultural Ministry. Okay, next, it is going to boost farmers' access and market integration. Focus of this new establishment of center is on providing high quality potato seeds with right variety, right quality and right time of availability. All these things matter when you want to grow. Okay, it has to be right variety, it has to be right quality and it has to be right time of availability. The right time is when you are going to sow it. Right quality is according to the climate. Right variety is according to the climate as well as need of the people. Then will support private companies and public institutions to scale seed multiplication. Aim is to improve market chain participation and reduce reliance on agrochemicals. So, it is also addressing the issue of nutrition and public programs. CIP is to work with government schemes such as midday meal schemes to promote nutritious potatoes in school feeding programs. And efforts are underway to ensure vulnerable populations have access to biofortified varieties so that the need for iron is filled through potatoes. Regional coordination. The Agra-based center will be governed by a coordination committee comprising agricultural secretaries from India, Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh. And also there is an aspect about global investment and outlook. European and North American companies are increasingly investing in India's potato production. India seen as having the strongest momentum in potato farming with high economic growth potential. Okay, so that is why most of the companies from Europe as well as America are trying to invest in India, especially with respect to potato farming. So a very simple topic but very significant topic. So biofortified potatoes with iron rich content are the need of the hour to address the hidden hunger, that is the malnutrition and undernutrition issue which is plaguing India. Next is DNT, NT and SNTs. What is DNT, NT, SNTs? We will see. So the current development is there is a call for permanent commission, that is denotified nomadic tribes or denotified tribes. Denotified tribes are called as DNTs and NT is nomadic tribes, SNT is semi-nomadic tribes. So this is a different section altogether from the PVTs, that is particularly vulnerable tribes, and altogether different from SCSTs, sorry, ST, scheduled tribes. So this is a different section of tribals. We'll understand. So why it is in news? It is in news because experts and activists are demanding a permanent national commission to ensure long-term representation and policy advocacy, provide targeted welfare interventions, and address historical exclusion and invisibility in policy making. Okay, so this DNT or NT or SNT are not covered under either PVTG or not covered under scheduled tribes. So as a result, they are not able to avail the programs which are dedicated to this kind of tribals. So now there is a need to bring a particular commission which is going to take care of DNTs, NT, SNTs. Next is denotified tribes. Denotified tribes are originally notified as criminal tribes under the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871 during the British rule. And post-independence, the act was repealed in 1952 and the tribes were denotified from the list of criminal tribes. They are also called as Vimukta Jatis because they have been denotified from the criminal tribes. So during the British time, which was of a colonial mindset, there were certain tribes which the colonial people perceived to be committing the crimes all the time. So it was stereotype. They were stereotyped, and there was also they were stereotyped to be criminal tribes. So this was a discrimination by the British rule. So they were they were notified as criminal tribes under the Criminal Tribes Act, and as a result, they were subjected to continuous surveillance. They were also subjected to exploitation by the police officers. So post-independence, what the Indian government did is it rolled back the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. As a result, they became denotified tribes. And nomadic tribes are communities who migrate for livelihood, often without land or permanent settlement. Next is semi-nomadic tribes, partially settled communities who periodically migrate for survival and work. Okay, so these are DNT, ST, and SNT. The status and challenge. They comprise around 10% of India's population. DNTs are around 150 groups. NT, SNTs are around 500 communities. Among the most marginalized, landless, and economically vulnerable sections of the society, because they are always moving from one place to another place, they do not have land they own, lack land rights, education, home ownership, and inclusion in mainstream schemes, because they are not covered under either ST or PVTG. Next, key government interventions with respect to this one. In 2014, there was a commission, that is Bhiku Ramji Idate Commission, famously known as Idate Commission. It was constituted by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It was to prepare state-wise list of DNT, NT, and SNTs, recommended developmental measures. It recommended that there has to be a new commission or there has to be a new section next to STs, which is going to include DNTs. Submitted draft list in 2017. Next is DWB and DNC, that is Development and Welfare Board for Denotified, Nomadic, and Semi-Nomadic Communities. It was established based on the Idate Commission recommendations, nodal agency for policy formulation, scheme implementation, and community outreach. So remember these two, Idate Commission and Development and Welfare Board for Denotified, Nomadic, and Semi-Nomadic tribes. Next is a Renke Commission. It was earlier one. It was the first attempt to identify and enumerate DNT communities. Highlighted exclusion and lack of recognition in SC, ST, or OBC list. As a result, they are not given any kind of government welfare. Next, the recent government initiative with respect to denotified is SEED. What is SEED? Scheme for Economic Empowerment of DNTs. It was launched in financial year 21-22 to 25-26 with a budget of 200 crore. Eligibility is income less than 2.5 lakh annually and not availing similar benefits anywhere else. So they are covered under this SEED benefit. Objective is free coaching for competitive exams, health insurance coverage, financial aid for house construction, livelihood generation at the community level. All these things were covered under seed scheme. So this topic is generally very important for all the UPSC aspirants, but very important and significant for students with anthropology as their optional. So note down all the important points which I told you now. Next, the third article is an editorial from the Hindu. It talks about the right to repair must include right to remember as well. We will understand what the author is trying to convey here. In May 2025, the Indian government accepted a proposal for repairability index for electronic vehicles, part of broader e-waste management and right to repair reforms. However, the article argues that India must also recognize repair as a knowledge work and not just as a service. Okay, so what is tacit repair knowledge? It refers to non-codified experiential knowledge passed via observation and mentorship, such as learning from family to peers. Found in India's informal repair economy, for example, in Karol Bagh, Delhi, Rich Estate in Chennai, Bhopal, etc., and also you can say about SP Road in Bangalore as well. Okay, SP Road in Bangalore, which are very important and famous hubs for repairing of electronic vehicles, electronic devices, etc. Repairers use intuition, sensory cues, and creative reuse without formal training or manuals. This knowledge is being eroded by design for disposability trends and lack of policy inclusion. Okay, so normally what the big companies are doing is they are designing for disposability. As soon as the need of a particular device is done, they have to be displaced. There is no use for, or there is no scope for repairing as well, repairing itself. So when there is no scope for repairing, all these people belonging to this informal sector are going to lose the job, and also their knowledge is going to be eroded. Okay, so they say that not only the right to repair but also right to repair as a knowledge should also be upheld. Blind spots in the policy. India produced 1.6 million tons of e-waste in 21-22, which is the third highest globally. E-waste management rules of 2022 promote recycling but ignore repair as a first line of sustainability. PMKVY, National Education Policy 2020, and Mission Life focus on formal or abstract skilling but not on the tacit, creative, and diagnostic nature of informal repair work. Okay, so these are the blind spots. Even though there are certain Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, National Education Policy, and Mission Life which are focusing on the skilling, but the skilling is only formal in nature. They are focusing on formal skilling and they are ignoring the tacit, creative, and diagnostic nature of this informal repair work. Why the right to remember matters? That is, tacit knowledge is essential to India's circular economy and material resilience. Repairers enable sustainability, extending device lifespans and enabling access to work and education and services. Repair is also a form of unmaking, offering design rights, insights, reuse potential, and practical innovation as well. So there is practical innovation which is involved in the repairing. AI and repair justice. Now, AI systems learn from human patterns, including tacit repair process, but repairers remain unrecognized. Most devices, that is, only 23% smartphones in Asia are not designed for repair due to closed hardware ecosystems. Only 23% are not designed for repair. Rest of them are designed for repair only. And proposed tech policy integrations. Use of AI tools to codify, translate, and preserve the tacit repair knowledge without stripping it of context. Align digital public infrastructure and AI policy with sustainability and repair inclusion. Okay, all these things has to be taken into consideration. Institutional actions needed. So what should be the actions needed at the present? MATI, that is, embed repairability norms in hardware and AI standards. Department of Consumer Affairs, that is, expand RTR framework to include product classification and community-based repair ecosystems. Next is Ministry of Labor, that is e-Shram. They should formally recognize the informal repairers and link them to social protections. They should also provide social security benefits. Ministry of Skill Development, that is, it should design adaptive skilling programs acknowledging this non-linear learning and hands-on diagnosis such as repairing or informal repairers. So key takeaways is repair is not just technical, it is also cultural, social and intellectual capital. So it has to be recognized. India must go beyond the right to repair and ensure right to remember. That is a policy commitment to preserve and promote informal knowledge. In this case, the repair knowledge. Recognizing and integrating informal repairers into policy will strengthen India's digital sovereignty, circular economy, and grassroots innovation. So, very important article which is different from most of the articles. So, that is why I called it. Next is how the World Bank classifies countries by income. Okay, there was again an article in the Hindu, that is how the World Bank classifies countries by income. You see that there is it defines countries as a high income, low income, mid income, etc., etc. We will see how it decides. World Bank's income classification, a widely used global framework that classifies countries into 4 subgroups or income groups based on gross national income per capita, not GDP but gross national income per capita. Low income, if it is less than or equal to $1,135. Low to middle income, if it is 1,001 to 136 to $4,495. Upper middle income, 4,400 to 13,395. And high income, if it is above 13,935. These are the 4 subgroups or income groups on basis of the gross national income per capita. What is gross national income per capita? It includes income earned both domestically and abroad. However, if it is GDP, it only considers domestic production. So this is gross national income per capita, which includes both domestic and abroad. Reported in local currency and then converted into US dollars using exchange rates. How the classification works? It is based on absolute income thresholds and not the relative rankings among the countries. Updated annually to account for global inflation. A country's movement between groups may result from real income growth or decline, currency exchange rate changes, and population data revisions. Okay, whenever a country moves from low income to high income or high income to low income, it is probably because of these reasons. That is population data revisions. That is, even if the GDP or GNP remains same, with the population increases, obviously per capita GNP, per capita GNI is going to reduce. As a result, you are going to move from high to low. Similar to currency exchange rates, exchanges. If the currency exchange rate increases the GNI, then you will be high. If it is reduces, you will be in low. So this is how the countries keep on changing from low income to high income. Historical context is, it was introduced in the late 1980s. It was originally linked to World Bank's lending policies. Initially used to determine eligibility for concessional loans, over the time decoupled from lending operations and now used for data classification and research. Okay, so the movement between the groups, that is, countries can move up or down based on economic growth, crisis or conflict. Along with those two, these are also the issues which can result in the movement of countries. If there is economic growth in the long term, or else if there is going to be conflict which is going to reduce GNI. Okay, so this is the classification at the moment. So low income countries are these African and India, and low middle income countries are these China, etc. And high income countries are mostly OECD countries and no data, some countries which do not have any data. Okay, so countries classified by income in 2014, India was under low income country. Now based on 2024, India has jumped from low income to lower middle income country. Okay, and China has jumped from low middle income country to upper middle income. Okay, so these are the important charts which have been provided. You can just pause the video and look into the chart. Next, the global trends. The systems does not ensure equal population distribution across the groups. That is, in 2004, 37% of the world population was in low income countries. In 2024, this dropped to less than 10%. Share in upper middle income countries rose from 10% to 35%. So the trend, as the trend say, that the more people are increasing or more countries are moving towards higher income, which is a good sign. This is about how World Bank calculates the or divides the countries. Next, moving on to the prelims pointers. One is first is what is market coupling. So, market coupling is an economic model used in energy markets to discover a uniform market clearing price for electricity by aggregating buy and sell bids from the power exchanges. Well, in the context of India, this was in news recently because India has three power exchanges. One is India Exchange Energy Exchange Limited, Power Exchange India Limited, Hindustan Power Exchange Limited. So there are three power exchanges in India, and bringing these together, aggregating these buy and sell bids from power exchanges, and finally coming up with the uniform market clearing price is known as market coupling. Okay. Currently, each exchange operates independently, resulting in slightly different MCPs, that is market clearing prices. Now they are moving towards bringing the market coupling, that is bringing all of them together and making a uniform MCPs. The Central Electricity Regulator Commission has proposed market coupling for the day ahead market segment. How does this market coupling works? All buy and sell bids from the three exchanges will be pooled together. Single clearing algorithm will be determining one uniform MCP. Power exchanges will serve only as a bid collection platforms. Discovery of price and dispatch will be centralized. Advantages of market coupling: efficiency, that is better utilization of electricity across regions, reduced transmission loss. Uniform pricing promotes fair competition and price transparency. And market liquidity increases participant numbers and trading volume. And finally, the cross border trade, it facilitates integration of regional electricity markets, which is going to be useful for SARC grid or one world grid initiatives. So market coupling has various advantages, and India, rightly so, is moving towards market coupling between those three energy exchanges. So why does it matter? It matters because it can be a key structural reform in India's power sector, supports energy security, efficient grid management, and consumer affordability. Next, Krashenyi-Nikko volcano. Okay, Krashenyi-Nikko volcano has erupted recently, so that is why it is in news. Location: it is in eastern Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia. We have discussed about Kamchatka Peninsula so many times in the recent days, because there was also a tsunami which affected the Kamchatka Peninsula recently. Tsunami and earthquake. And before that, there was again another volcano eruption which happened in the Kamchatka Peninsula, because the Kamchatka Peninsula lies in the ring of fire zone. Okay, lies in the convergence zone between two plates, that is Pacific plates and Indo-European, Eurasian plate. So that is why this region most of the times experiences volcano, earthquake, and tectonic movements. Volcanic arc, it is part of Pacific Ring of Fire. Eruption date: it erupted on August 2, 2025 after a magnitude of 8.8 earthquake hit nearby. So it is, you can say, one of the side effects of earthquake as well. Ash plume, it reached up to 20,000 feet altitude. First recorded eruption in modern times. Previous eruption was around 400 to 6,600 years ago. So what many believe to be dormant has now woken up. Okay, from dormant to active volcano now. Okay, next, the type of volcano: it is a stratovolcano, which is also called as composite volcano. Height is of 1,886 meters, and structure is, it lies inside a 9-kilometer wide collapsed caldera. What is caldera? You know this volcanoes. Okay, so there will be a common vent here. So this is where the lava plume explodes. When the lava plume explodes, it not only explodes through this. When there is explosion, it also brings and explodes the surrounding in its nearby area as well. As a result, in the next explosion, what happens here is this opens up. So this is called as caldera. From crater, it turns into caldera. If in this caldera, if there is any water filled, then it is called as caldera lake. So the Lake Titicaca, which is the highest lake in the world, which lays at the highest lake in the world, which is in Bolivia, is a caldera lake. Okay. Next, a composite of two eruptive cones, and southern cone contains an 800-meter wide and 140-meter deep crater. Okay. So what is the stratovolcano? Stratovolcano is a tall, steep-sided, cone-shaped volcano formation. It is built by alternating layers of lava, ash, and pyroclastic material. Eruption style often explosive due to viscous lava. Location commonly found over the subduction zones, and global presence 60% of all the volcanoes are stratovolcanoes. Examples is Mount Fuji, Mount Vesuvius, Mount St. Helens, etc. So we discussed about Kamchatka Peninsula. It is a volcanic hotspot. It hosts around 114 Holocene volcanoes, lies on the convergent boundary of Pacific Plate and the Eurasian Plate, one of the most volcanically active regions in the world. Okay. Next, final article for the day is about Matri One initiative. Matri One initiative, it was launched by Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change, and Housing and Urban Affairs. Part of Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam program. Okay, one tree in the name of mother. Location, it is in Aravalli Hills, covering 750 acres near Gurugram Faridabad Road. That is the Matri One initiative. So vision and purpose is to create a theme-based urban forest dedicated to ecological restoration, cultural connection with nature, and sustainable urban living as well. Promote intergenerational environmental stewardship through Mother Nature inspired efforts. How? They are trying to use cultural connections, emotional attachment for forest conservation. Okay, these are most of the times more effective than policy based interventions. Okay, next, collaborative approach involves multi stakeholder partnerships, CSR partners, resident welfare associations, NGOs, MNCs, school children, government agencies, etc. Key components are aimed at ecological restoration, removal of invasive species like Kabuli kikar, and plantation of native species like dhak and amaltash, creation of theme-based plantation groves and eco-friendly infrastructure, nature trails, cycling tracks, yoga zones, sitting gazebos, etc., etc., and water bodies to conserve water and manage urban flooding, treated water irrigation, misting, sprinkling systems, and public amenities like parking zones at four corners, public utilities for visitors, and community engagement. All these things will be included in the Matri One. So, which is a very significant initiative which is going to address the issue of air pollution in Delhi or National Capital Region and the surrounding areas. This can also be followed in rest of the important cities, like urban cities like Mumbai, Ahmedabad. Like I am not mentioning Bengaluru because in Bengaluru already had so many of parks and so many of like forest as well. Chennai and rest of the areas can be used as well. Pune. Okay, this can be followed in the rest of the country. Okay, so these are the articles which I wanted to discuss with you today. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and also click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. We are also alternatively bringing mains test series, GS 400 plus series. So do follow the series as well. We are bringing with important committees, important reports, data points, etc., which is going to be very important for your mains answers. So with this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.